Hello, Ariel. Hello, everybody else.
Hello, how's it going, Marcus?
I'm almost better. I'm still feeling like crap, to be honest. But anyway, I told you already. Let's do the live stream. Let's make it a little bit shorter than usually. But yeah, I like to hear your impression of the S95C. That's why I'm here.
Well, my impressions is that I am impressed, actually. And of course, I knew it was gonna be brighter and more colorful. But honestly, the main worry that I had was the way the screen looks because on the store, the S95B screen, so the first generation QD-OLED panel, was looking super, like it has a color. It's not that it looks gray only, it has a color. So the screen itself looks like magenta, like. And then the second generation QD-OLED panel, I saw the A95L, and it was looking like purple. So I'm like, this is gonna be so ugly because, yeah, I play on a dark room, but the screen has this colorful look. It's not black. So I was super concerned about that because you don't really know until you take it home and you actually, try the TV. And honestly, yes, it has a black level race, but it looks gray. I don't see a color. It's there for sure. I mean, if you point a light and you look up under a microscope, it's there, but it's not like something that I cannot deal with. It's a little bit. I prefer the way the screen looks on my LG C1, of course, but that's when the TV is off. As soon as you turn it on and you see the qualities, you're like, okay. Um, it's not that bad.
This was actually my first question because we talked about this, the film, the reflection handling of the S95C, B, C, and of course D a lot. And I have seen the D in the shop, and it looks terrible when you turn it on or off or on. It just doesn't. It's not my thing. But the S95C, I found it's very close to the LG TVs. Close, not the same. You can clearly see it's a little bit raised. But as soon you actually watch something, and you should watch HDR content in almost a very dark room, I mean, I can't see any problems. Or not at all. The S95C is good. The S95D is a complete different story, in my opinion.
Yes. So, but here's the thing. I don't know how to show this on camera or how big of a deal this is going to be for people. But the thing is, if I turn on the lights, even the light, let's say I have a completely black room, okay, and I turn on my cell phone light, it doesn't matter how small the amount of light I am using, the screen never looks black. It never looks black. So the thing is, how can you know that the screen is black if as soon as you have light, it doesn't look black? It's like a paradox. You see what I'm saying? So I know it is black, of course, because when I am in a dark room and I see a completely black screen on a loading screen on a game or something like that, that's supposed to be black. Yes, it is black. I don't see absolutely anything. But my concern is because the TV is so bright, then it's lighting up the room. So if there's light on the room, then you don't have those perfect blacks. And I'm sure something like that is going on for sure. But the thing is that a deal breaker? I don't think so. And can you see it in real content? It's gonna be difficult, but I'll see what I can do to make a video about it. If I can have a test pattern or something that my camera can show, let's see. But that's basically my concern.
I think it's hard to show this actually because it's not really. We're not talking about. It's not a deal breaker for me, not at all. That's the reason why I'm playing. When I'm playing games, I play on the S95C and not on the G2 because it's just a better TV. So in general, what do you think about the TV in general? Have you experienced any problems like the HDMI dropout, stuff like that so far?
No, so I have not experienced any dropouts yet, but I haven't been able to use it that much because I've been very busy. So I cannot say, oh, my TV doesn't have a problem yet. I have to use it more. But so far, no dropouts. But one thing I want to say is that for some reason, I don't know about you, but every time I turn on the PC, I have to change. I have to change the settings. Like I have to say, okay, this is a PC. I have to change settings. Like it is it is not safe. Everything is
Okay,
not safe. Like every
are
time.
are you disconnecting the HDMI or the PC from your
No,
Samsung? No,
no.
because I have to, what I experienced, and this is really annoying. There's LG is much better with that, but as soon I'm disconnecting my PlayStation 5 and put it here to the on the LG G2, and then go back to the S95C, I have to set up everything again. It doesn't. So even the TV is off and not turned on. Even we remove this physically, somehow the TV recognizes that there's no HDMI connected anymore, and it starts searching again, for whatever is connected. It's annoying. I fully agree. That's. I don't know if this is a bug or if this is how Samsung is treating HDMI connections.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has to do with the One Connect box. But yeah, definitely the settings are not saving, and I have to change them. Some of them are, but it's not like plug and play. Like, okay, I have everything set up. I should just be able to turn on the PC, the TVs with the same settings, everything. I don't have to change. So every time I have to go to the menus and
yeah, I know.
That's not good.
And you should get a normal Samsung remote control.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not liking this.
It's fine if you like to use the TV, but if you're changing a lot of settings, it's annoying. But you can get this for $10 or whatever. It's not a problem.
Now the other thing, because topic of the live stream is, are we happy? I mean, I'm very happy. The TV looks absolutely incredible, and of course, I'm going to talk about that. But it is very important. Maybe someone here on the chat, someone knows how to fix this problem, because so far the biggest problem I have with the TV is that I cannot use NVIDIA image scaling, which is very useful to get more performance in some games, and I cannot use NVIDIA DLSR, which is very useful when you want to play like a very old game and your GPU has more power and you want to get upscale, you want to get more pixels. And this is awesome. Actually, it's one of my favorite things, my favorite features about these NVIDIA GPUs, because especially for old games, it looks absolutely amazing. I cannot use that with the S95C, and the problem seems to be DSC, display string compression, is on the service menu, and because of that, the NVIDIA doesn't support. Now, NVIDIA could update the drivers so then they support these features with display string compression, but so far they don't work. So then the other problem I have associated with the One Connect box is that I cannot delete this 4096 by 2160 resolution that all these TVs come with. That's the real 4K resolution.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's completely useless for PC gaming. You're not going to get like a better looking game.
No.
And actually, it's going to look stretched because it might look stretched because of the aspect ratio is 17:9 instead of 16:9. And the biggest problem is there are some games that are going to look stretched even if you choose 3840 by 2160 resolution. And maybe some people will not notice that because it's not a big difference. But if you look at a car, wheel, or something like that, it's not going to look rounded. It's going to look like oval, a little bit oval. So that's messed up. So the thing is, to delete that resolution is very easy on the PC. You just have to use the CRU app, the Custom Resolution Utility app. Very easy. You go to where the TV resolutions are, you delete them. I did that on my LG C1, no problem. I've done it in many other TVs. no issues. But because of the One Connect box, you cannot make changes on that ADID. So it doesn't work. So my hope is once I go to the service menu and disable DSC, and I might have issues if I do that with 144 hertz 4K 144, because DSC is necessary on the S95C to get that working, because it only has 40 gigabits per second bandwidth instead of the full 48 that the S90C, S90D have. Basically, the TVs that don't have the One Connect box, they have the full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. So I might have an issue with that, but it's not a big problem for me because, yeah, I'm okay with 120. And then if I want the 144, then I can turn it back on. Not a big deal. But even if I do that, I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to delete that resolution. So maybe NVIDIA image scaling is gonna work, but the problem is, even if it works, the scaling is going to be wrong, because NVIDIA calculates the DLDSR factor and in the image scaling. It calculates that based on the highest resolution available. So if the highest resolution available has this 17:9 aspect ratio, then it's the number of the scaling is gonna be wrong, and that's not gonna work well.
Okay.
So that's a big problem. If someone knows on the chat, please.
And that's just for some games, not for all games?
Well, the NVIDIA image scaling and DLDSR, you can use them in any game, depending on what you're looking for. And that's important because, I'm excited to get that 5090, okay? If I get a 5090 to play older games or the games that I currently have, it's going to be overpowered maybe in some cases. So then what are you gonna do? You're gonna use NVIDIA DLDSR to get more pixels, to get better anti-aliasing, and so then I cannot use it. So if I found myself playing an old game at just 4K with aliasing, and I don't have a way to get that higher quality, it's like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
And it's because of that that issue.
So let's answer this question from Socrates. Doesn't the Samsung have a matte finish, and don't you lose deep and blacks compared to LG's glossy finish? You want to answer?
Yeah, so no, it's not a matte finish. The S95D has a matte finish, which is really terrible. I saw on the store the S95D on the top and an S90C or D. I believe it was a C. I made a video about it. And it was looking washed out, of course, under lighting conditions. But the thing is, even on a perfectly dark room, a matte finish is going to have like a grainy look. If you look at it if you zoom in with a phone camera, you will see that the pixels, they're not going to look as clear. They're going to look a little bit grainy, a little bit blurry. So a matte finish, when it comes to picture quality, is a no-go. It's like a terrible idea. I am okay if Samsung has that for lower end models. Let's say they have an S90D version that has a matte finish, but for the best of the best, no way. A matte finish has no place with the problem I was talking about with the raised blacks. It's not because it has a matte finish. They have a glossy finish. The problem is that the screen lights up the same way CRTs a screen they light up, not the same way, but it also happens with CRTs, plasmas. The screen lights up with light.
Yeah. Okay. We have just give me a second here. We have a super chat. Thank you very much, Wes. Lack of true HGIG. I need 100% accuracy. Yeah. Unfortunately, the S95C has not perfect HGIG.
Yeah, but let me tell you this. That was one concern that I had for sure. I thought that was gonna be a big problem. But let me tell you, the roll-off is very small.
Yeah.
Very small. and the TV is bright, colorful, and the highlights, you can see them, so they are defined. It's not gonna be as good as what a reference monitor does, or even LG with HGIG. They do a better job. But it's I mean, the least, and the priority on the problem list that I have with the S95C, that's like at the bottom. It's not a big deal. I mean, I much rather have them do the tone mapping like LG. I mean, I much rather have an LG QD-OLED, honestly,
Yeah.
because the settings and the calibration controls of the LG TVs are so much better. The 20-point calibration doesn't work on the S95C, and it should be the same for the rest of the QD-OLEDs on PC mode.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It doesn't work. I'm not sure if it works in console mode.
Yes.
I haven't tried. It does work.
Yeah.
Okay. But LG has so much better calibration controls. It's not even close. But yeah, that's not a big deal. That's not true. I am pushing for it. I mean, I would tell Samsung, hey, absolutely. I mean, all these TV companies, also all the monitors, we should always have an HGIG option. So what is HGIG? HGIG means no tone mapping on the display. The display is going to follow the EOTF as close as possible and hard clip as close as possible to its maximum peak brightness, ideally at the exact maximum peak brightness of that individual panel. But of course, that's never going to be the case, because from panel to panel, we have a small variant, but still the calibration is going to be set in a specific number. Okay. So every TV company and every monitor and every TV should have that option, especially for PC gaming and for gaming in general. Why? Because we have peak brightness sliders on the games. So we don't need the TV to always take care of the tone mapping. It is better if the tone mapping algorithm of the game is right, it works well. It is better to adjust the source and then the TV just show you that as accurately as possible. That's better.
You want to answer this question here from Eric?
Ariel, how many FPS does the Game Motion Plus look like on 60 FPS? I know it is not as good as True Motion on C1. It is like 80, 90 FPS like motion clarity. It actually looks exactly this. I mean, not exactly the same because it's not true frames. We have some interpolation artifacts, but it is 120 FPS. And how do I know that? Very easy. You can test this very easy. Open the UFO test and lower the speed to 120 pixels per second. You do that at 120 hertz, so you have 120 FPS. So you see how the UFO test is supposed to look like. What you are getting at that speed is you're getting 1 pixel of motion blur, which is considered to be perfect at a normal viewing distance. So now you go and you use console mode, 60 hertz, and turn on this low latency motion interpolation, this Game Motion Plus feature. When you do that, same speed, 120 pixels per second, you will see that the UFO test looks exactly the same as real 120 frame, exactly the same. And you should focus on the alien eyes. They should be sharp and not blurry. So that proves that it is 120 FPS and it looks as good as 120 FPS. But of course, we have some interpolation artifacts that are going to look worse depending on the game. If the game has like a terrible TAA with a lot of ghosting, that's going to be amplified. It's going to be even worse. But it's good. I like that feature a lot.
Yeah, me too. Especially games like I said it so many times. Especially for games like Diablo, it's just a game changer because you suddenly see all the details. It's just wow. But yeah.
Yeah, and for games, for example, I was playing Elden Ring. Elden Ring has a mod, you can unlock the FPS, but Elden Ring is so heavy on CPU sometimes that you cannot go and always play over 100 frames, even if you have a very good CPU. So with this feature, I can get a more consistent experience because it's always the same. And that's so important to me. I know I can lock the FPS to 60 and get this experience, which is not fantastic, but it's good enough. And yeah, I'm very happy with that feature.
Yeah. So a question from JW001. Do any of you guys use Spears Munsell disk for calibration? Yes, I do. But if you're asking now for calibrating the S95C, you would need to have a very expensive what is the name? Spectral radiometer, I think was the name.
Spectral radiometer.
Yeah, you need, because of the wavelengths from the display and stuff like that. So you can't use a normal one like for the LG. So LG is in general it's cheaper to calibrate the LG, let's say like this, and easier probably. But yes, I'm using this. But on the other hand,
go ahead.
On the other hand, I think what I found, so just the other day, I just double checked my LG G2, and with all the standard factory setting, it's really not far out. It's really close. And even when I'm comparing this with my S95C, then the S95C with some changes from Classy, when you use the BT2020 native color gamut and stuff like that, it's really looking close to the G2. So there's not much what you have to do nowadays with high-end TVs, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I forgot actually, so let's keep going. I forgot what I was gonna say about the Spears and Munsell disk. Oh, I was gonna say, have you tried the calibration with the phone that they have? Of course, it's not gonna be perfectly
the phone,
accurate.
Yeah. I tried it once and no. I think it depends also on your phone camera or something like that. But it was a terrible experience. It was absolutely reddish then. It was not good. I would not recommend to do that.
Worse than default. Worse than
default.
And to go back, but what is that doing? Is it changing the settings on the regular menu, or is it changing on the service menu or something?
No, on the regular menu, but nothing on the service menu. You just go to reset picture settings, and that's it. And you go back.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. I'm gonna try it because I have a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, and I also have an iPhone 15 Plus. So I'm gonna maybe do iPhone versus Samsung. Which camera is doing a better job with this calibration.
I think it's really up to the camera, because if the camera is measuring the wrong thing, then that's what you get.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to try. But yeah, I don't know why they have that option if it's gonna be worse than default. But yeah, it depends on the phone, I guess. Maybe they are expecting you to use a specific phone.
Probably, but again, I was not. No, I found the S95C out of the box really good, actually.
Yeah, let me read this comment here. Ariel, you need to redo the S95C versus C1 with your smartphone in HDR when you have the time. Even 1 minute is enough. Most people have OLED HDR capable smartphones, so give it a try. Actually, I recorded that video on HDR, but you know how YouTube is? It takes a long time to be ready on HDR, especially a half an hour video.
Yeah.
I might never be available on HDR. But yeah, I'm recording all the videos on HDR. If you go back to recently, like 2 weeks ago or something like that, all the videos should be HDR on my channel.
Okay. It just takes time. Believe me, it just takes time. Probably in 2, 3, 4, maybe a week, you get it in HDR.
Oh yeah.
What is this here? We have from Dio Brando a question. We can't edit anything related to edit due to the box, nor disable DSC like S95C with service menu. According the CRU dev, it's 100% on NVIDIA's driver side. Fortinet 3840 is tagged native resolution. Okay, 3840 is tagged native resolution. Okay.
So he's basically saying that I cannot fix the issue I was complaining about at the beginning. So you're saying that I don't have an option to turn off DSC on the service menu on the S95C. I mean, I'll try that. I haven't accessed the service menu yet because I want to first, get more familiar with the TV to remember how it looks like. Because as soon as I get to the service menu, I'm going to do the brightness, hack, which is basically just changing two settings, a couple settings on the service menu, and you get like 2,000 nits peak brightness and 310 nits full screen. But the problem is when you do that, for sure it's gonna look a little bit washed out. And because I don't have the 20-point calibration available, I need to know what's wrong. When I do that, I need to know, okay, I see the change. Yeah, it's brighter now, but this is looking kind of washed out here and there. So I need to know what changed so I can fix it. So that's why I haven't, access the service menu, but I will. And the DSC option, based on what I search online, is there, and you can turn it off on the S95C, but maybe not. And yeah. So basically, so you're saying it's an NVIDIA problem. So does it work with AMD? The S95C with AMD doesn't have this issue, and you can delete the resolution with the CRU app? That's something I would like to know.
Let me we have another super chat from Wes. Thank you very much. Had my G3 with filmmaker mode and HDRG next to the S95C, preferred the G. Okay, I mean, I had so you have the G3. I just have the G2 next to my S95C, and I preferred the S95C all over the G2 anytime. But the G3, of course, it's a different story.
Yeah, you have the MLA. I have to say that by default, the way the S95C looked in comparison with my LG C1 with HDIG, when it comes to calibration, we know, of course, it's brighter and more colorful, but it was looking a little bit washed out. The midtones were looking a little bit too bright, but not in a good way. Not that, okay, it's brighter, it's better. It's not the dynamic tone mapping effect I'm talking about. It's looking a little bit washed out for the midtones. And then near black is looking dark, so at the very beginning of the grayscale, it's looking very dark. You can see the detail, but it's crushing a little bit blacks, just the first one. And I tried with multiple test patterns to rule that out. And then right after that, it is too bright near black, so it's a little bit washed out near black. So basically, on my opinion, what I can see is a little bit washed out for the midtones, a little bit washed out near black, and then it's crushing at the very beginning. And the thing is that the calibration controls of the TV are not great. I don't like what this ST2084, which is that it's supposed to adjust the EOTF tracking. I don't like too much what it does. I see that, yes, it's affecting everything, so I should take care of it somehow. But I don't like the shadow setting, that shadow detail setting. I don't like what it does, because if you increase that, you get raised blacks. So it is not increasing the visibility near black while keeping the perfect blacks. So I don't like that.
Yeah, increasing the shadow details is anyway, I think, not a good idea. I think for the ST2084, I think it was -1 for the game mode, which was recommended. And I think for the shadow details, I would need to look up, but I have it on 0 at the moment. So I'm not increasing or decreasing it at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, so when I put it side by side with the C1 real quick, I noticed that, okay, let me reduce it a little bit just to match them for the video. But it's not that that's like ideal settings or none of that.
Let's answer this question from Powers Dave Q. Question: is it better to use 1440 on PlayStation 5 rather than 4K? No, it's not, because I would set your PlayStation to 4K, because The output resolution has nothing to do with the internal resolution what the game is rendered at. Okay, so just set it to 4K and play games. Okay, all good. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, because non-native resolutions don't look very good on these flat panels that we have today. You want the native resolution.
So Beam Me Up Scopy is saying HDRG is not too important. Most games don't support it anyway. So first of all, not a single game supports HDRG. Not a single game. It's the tone mapping from the TV. Okay, so that's a different story. But HDRG is actually, in my opinion, very important because it's the only way to have a proper HDR picture. So the LG OLED TV is doing this perfectly without any problems. The Samsung, the S95C is doing tone mapping even with HDRG enabled. According to Classy, the S95D is doing HDRG on the spot. So that's what I heard. But I find HDRG pretty important actually. It most games it looks better than dynamic tone mapping on.
But what do you mean? What do you mean on the spot?
Yeah, it's doing HDRG like on the LG TVs.
Oh,
yeah.
So another
no
thing that I noticed.
No roll off.
Oh, no roll off.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing that I noticed was that the tone mapping of the TV sometimes is not right. Like when you open a video, and I showed that my very first impressions of the TV, I was like, what's going on here? Why is the tone mapping changing if I'm not changing settings? Why is clipping at like 2000 or 1800, then it goes back to 1200 and 1300? Like, what's going on? Why is the tone mapping changing? So it looks like the TV needs, for example, if you turn on and off HDR, then it is fixed on the PC. But there is something that's not working consistently with the tone mapping. And I don't know what it is. So basically, let's say you open a video, I open a test pattern, this color clipping test pattern, and I see it clipping like at 1800 or 2000, something like that. I open Red Dead Redemption, close the game, and open again the test pattern, and it's now clipping at 1200. So why is that changing? Like, I'm not changing settings on the TV. Why is that happening? There is something that's changing there. And also, you can see when you open the video, the clipping point is different. When you have the video full screen, now it is adjusted. So it is not like on the LG, you have HDIG, no matter what, that's gonna clip at that point, and it's never gonna change.
Okay.
It's a little bit buggy, or I'm not understanding what's going on with that tone mapping.
So Matt is telling, don't do the brightness hack.
But why do you do it? Because I heard you know, like you type in on the comments some time ago that the S95C was amazing with the 2000 nits hack, especially after you calibrate or something like that. So why you do it and you tell me not to do it?
That's why I had a pixel red every time I increased NR peak. That's the setting.
Oh, 1 pixel, that was okay. So you're saying that you might get like a pixel that's like, okay, this is too much, and it might
probably
it might die.
I mean, you can cause issues, with this one.
For sure.
You can cause issues, but
But let me tell you this: I don't feel like, not that it's not necessary. I mean, brighter is better. There's no question about that. Especially if it doesn't completely mess up the calibration, and now it just looks washed out all the time. But man, this TV looks so bright.
It does,
just by default. You see, the impression that I got, what had me so happy with the TV when it comes to the picture quality. I mentioned a lot of the issues, but when it comes to picture quality, forget about Samsung, that the remote is messed up. None of that. I'm talking about the way it looks. The impression I got was, this is like almost like my phone camera, but big. My phone screen, but big. I have an S23 Ultra. Especially when I opened that color clipping test pattern, I was like, man, this is like my phone almost. Of course, it's not as bright full screen, I know that, but that was the impression that I got. It's that powerful. Yeah, and when I put it side by side with a C1 with that test pattern, the difference is like, I don't know, 4 times, 4 times at least. It's crazy.
The good Sherman is asking, hello, WOLED TVs is now done for both of you. There's now only QD-OLED for you? Question mark. No, they're not. It's not
No.
done, because still using my G2 here for SDPC monitor, because it has very nice features, in terms of gaming, the FTDA settings and stuff like that. LG is doing a great job, and if you have seen the LG G4 in live, absolute fantastic TV. So.
Yeah, I think the LG is a very solid TV. I love the settings you have, especially these new settings that the C4 and the G4 have, that let you adjust the roll-off point of the tone mapping. I mean, that's like awesome from LG. I mean, every company should copy that. You should have options to change the tone mapping and then adjust the roll-off point without needing to use calibration software and equipment, all of that. Because I mean, you can just fine-tune the HDR better if you have those options. So I'm keeping my C1. I'm not getting rid of it. I like that TV still a lot. And of course, I especially like the motion clarity that we have with the BFI. So I'm never gonna get rid of it. It will have to die. And I'm gonna see if I fix it if it dies one day. So yeah, it's a great TV. I'm not getting rid of it.
No, same here. I'm not getting rid of my CX or the G2. Or maybe not. But it depends. Maybe I'm getting a G4 at some point, but not sure. Not sure.
You want to get a C4?
No, a G4, not a C4.
A G4?
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure.
But the problem I see with a G4 is the price, man. The 55 inch right now is like $23.99. 99. That's a lot of money. I got lucky. I think I paid $1139.99 for the S95C. It was on clearance. The day after I bought it, it was $15.99 or $14.99, then $15.99, and it has never been that cheap again. And I am checking every day because I got the Best Buy membership, and it basically lets you change the TV. You have 60 days, and you can swap the TV for another one, or you can get a full refund, no questions asked. And if they lower the price of the TV you bought, you go to the store and you're like, okay, you lower the price, they have to give you the difference back. So Black Friday is coming. If they have some crazy deals on an S95C because they are on clearance or something like that, I will go there and they give me the difference. So I'm keeping my eye close to the prices. Yeah. And the G4 is crazy expensive. There's no discount for that. Big discount for that. It's so expensive.
Yeah. Get a G4 and compare it to the S95C. If the S95C just returned a G4, that's with the returning here in Australia. That's the problem. It's not as easy.
I was hearing your other live stream. You were saying that they don't let you return it at all.
No. It's you buy it and that's it. If you don't like it, then don't buy it in the first place. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, that's really
I mean, I pulled the trigger. I pulled the trigger and I bought it because I had all these concerns and all these worries, and I thought I was not gonna like it, honestly. But I'm like, okay, I have 60 days to return it. Worst case scenario, I don't like it.
2 months for testing.
I can make videos for 2 months, and if I don't like it, I return it and I get my money back. That's not a terrible idea, honestly. A lot of people, after these videos I've been making, a lot of people are telling me that, become a TV reviewer, get the G4, get this. I want to see you compare this with that. And honestly, if they are going to watch the videos like they did, it is profitable for me. It makes sense. But let me tell you why I am not going to do that, at least not for now. even if I get my money back, I don't feel good opening a brand new TV to return it.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking for me. I just don't like it. Even if it doesn't cost me anything other than the work, I feel like I am like throwing food away or something like that. It doesn't feel good to me.
No, I
I
know
don't
what you
like
mean.
to do that. But yeah, and here in the US, yeah, the return policies are great. And Costco gives you 90 days.
90 days.
That's crazy. I mean, you can basically buy the G4 and almost wait for the G5 to come and then return it. And it's crazy. 90
Oh
days.
my God. Now this is crazy. And still, you know what I don't understand is not people using using the system against
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, there's a lot of people abusing that. I don't
abusing.
know
Yes,
how
that's
many times you can do it. But I guess what people do is they go to different stores because, for example, here where I live,
okay.
there's like 3 Best Buys, like 3 or 4 Costco's. It's like you can go and do it with 1 year, 2 years. After that, then they're not going to care if you do it once a year or once every 2 years. See,
Yeah,
so that's
here,
how a lot of TV reviewers do the job.
yeah, so hardware lover is writing, they will eventually block you as a customer if you do this too often. Yeah, of course. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, here in Australia now we can return stuff on Amazon when you buy online. So quite simply, you just return it, even you tried it and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that if you now would do this on a regular base, they would just say, no, we're not selling to you anymore, which is fair, which is fair.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't like to do that, man.
No, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound right,
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't sound right.
So any recommendations for settings on your S95C? What should someone do if they're buying the TV? What's
So
the
one
first setting?
one thing I'm going to say is that at the beginning I didn't know, how to get the BT2020 settings, and I thought that by changing it to native, so I thought, okay, the DCI-P3 here is locked. So I thought, oh, that's because it's PC mode, so they don't let you change that. But then when you go to native, it looks more colorful. So I was like, okay, using a test pattern. So I'm talking about the most saturated red, all the colors, they are looking more saturated. So of course there's a color gamut increase. And I thought, oh, that native, that's full BT2020, that's max out. And that was not the case. So what you have to do, you have to go custom and then go back, and that DCI-P3 that was locked is gonna be unlocked. So then you change that to BT2020.
Yeah.
But now you have to, for sure, you have to lower the color saturation when you do that, because here's my recommendation. Of course, you can just go online, watch the classy video, just copy those settings and you're good to go. But I like to, just try things and go back and forth and play around with the settings. That's part of the enjoyment for me. I like to change settings and then compare that with my C1 and with my plasma and then play around with that and have fun. But definitely do that, set it to BT2020 and then open a color clipping test pattern. I shared that on the video. A bunch of test patterns from ABS forums. I got them. And then you open that color clipping pattern and make sure that you're not clipping the colors too much. So if the clipping point is 1200, all the colors don't have to clip at 1200.
No, they don't.
Actually, I asked FOMO, what is the reference monitor doing? Because my question was, on a reference monitor, are all the colors clipping exactly at the clipping point, exactly at the same point as the wall? And he told me no, that the colors are clipping, some of them are clipping before.
You went offline for a
then
second.
Yeah, but definitely you don't want to, have the colors clipping too much. So you have to lower the color saturation, basically.
Yeah. So I think I'm using 18 at the moment, and with some settings from Matt, by the way. So Matt, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I haven't got anything. Where have you sent it? Email or X? But yeah, we'll watch it. for sure.
But yeah, so I lowered the color saturation to like 16. And what I like a lot, this impressed me a lot. I was like, wow, with this color saturation 16, all the colors are clipping either at the same 1200 nits, at the same clipping point as the white, or after. But no color is clipping before that, at least those colors on the test pattern. And I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Have you tried this? Yeah, I mean, you did this. You tried the same test pattern on the LG C1 as well?
Yes, yes.
It's a big difference,
So,
huh?
no. I mean, it's like, that's what I'm saying. That's like 4 times at least or more. Yeah. But the thing is with the C1, regardless of the vibrancy and the brightness, on the C1 with HGIG, the whites are clipping at 800, but the color red is clipping like at 520, something like that. And if you lower the color saturation, so the colors don't clip, it looks like black and white, almost like you have no color at all. And with the S95C, even if you lower the saturation, so no color is clipping before the 1200, it still looks okay. It looks a little bit desaturated in comparison with something that might be more accurate, but it's like 2 clicks. Actually, I watched the Glassy Classy video, and he recommended like 18. So when I set it with this test pattern, I set it to 16, and he said like 18 would be most likely. Of course, there's a panel to panel variant.
Yeah, of course. And
but most likely it's gonna be more accurate. So I mean, that's incredible. It's so impressive to me. It's amazing.
Yeah. So have you had so what was your first, so because it's always the same when let's say I'm testing a game here on my G2, playing a couple of, like Astrobot, what I tested in terms of HDR. I'm doing all my HDR testing here, and then when I like to play the game, I'm actually taking my PlayStation to the S95C, and then the first thing what I notice, turn it on, oh my god, the colors. Oh my god. And it's not that everything is oversaturated or vivid or whatever. They're just pure. They're just really looking much better. So it's not that everything is, you need to turn down the color volume or something like that, or color tone. No. It's just, I think pure is the right word. They're just much better looking.
Yes. So the other thing, I mean, the colors look very bright, but the color that's like, wow, for me, the most impressive one is the yellow color. Those yellow colors are so bright. It's so beautiful. But one of the things that, of course, impressed me the most is the uniformity.
Yeah.
So when you have
this at all.
Such a much better screen uniformity, if you display full screen colors, it looks so much more uniform. But not only that, I'm going to make a video where I'm going to compare a test pattern that shows color banding. There's a test pattern. That test pattern looks as smooth on the S95C, and with the C1 you see the color banding and it's very clear. So the combination of having more uniform full screen colors and that better gradation of colors, it gives you an impression of more a clean picture. Is it was one of the things that impressed me the most, especially when you play with auto HDR and you have a lot of color banding when you look at the sky and all of that. The S95C is a smoothing out. It is like if you had a smooth gradation setting turn on or something like that.
Yeah. No, I noticed this as well. So there's less color banding on the S95C. Absolutely. It looks much better. Yeah. What's the comment about here? The original cable is thin like a lamp cable, pure garbage. What is he talking about?
The original cable, maybe he means the power cord. I don't know. I don't remember. Let me see. Yeah, it's thin, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like, it's not flat. It's rounded, so I don't think it's a.
You mean the connection for the
power cord? Yeah, the power cord. I think that's what he is talking about. It's okay. I don't think it's.
So you're using the long cable for the one connect box or the small one, the short one?
Yes, I'm using the long. I'm using the long cable. Now I was concerned. Maybe I should use the small one so I don't have dropouts. But I'm testing the TV if the long one should work. So that's why I'm using
it. It should work, yeah. And if you don't have dropouts at the moment, then you're good. So you're using 144 hertz.
Yeah, I have tried 144 hertz, but the most time that I've played spending with the TV has been at 60 with the
Game Motion Plus.
Motion Plus.
Because it's so good.
Yeah, because I mean, I like it.
But it makes sense. Just think about it. You use 60 FPS instead of, let's say, 120 FPS with more details, and you use Game Motion Plus.
Yes.
And you have the same result. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yes. But let me ask you, Marcus, the dropouts that you experience, because of you, I got an optical HDMI 2.1 right away. I didn't even want to try copper because I don't want to return the TV. I'm buying it because I want it. So I don't want to see the issues if possible.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, when you had the issues, was it because of the long cable to the one connect box, or you changed it to a short one, or was it?
So the HDMI cable what I'm using for the G4 are 8K certified cables. So the cable should be fine, but they are 5 meters long, okay? Because connection to the PC and whatever, you need 5 meters. And I bought the exact same cable, 5 meters for the S95C. And I had just issues with that. And in the beginning, I thought it's the cable. So I tried it here on the G2, sorry, no problems at all. And at some point, I found out the shorter the cable, the better. And at the end, I ended up with and it was even with the PlayStation 5, 120 hertz. I had dropouts. Not as many as with 144, but there was something. And I'm using the short cable for the one connect box. So, and I tried with the long cable as well. There was no difference actually. So,
but let me ask you. But is it that? So you're talking about the short cable for the one connect box. Yeah. You're not talking about the HDMI.
No. Okay. So I tested my HDMI cables with the short cable for the one connect box and the long cable for the one connect box, and I couldn't find any difference with the cable from Samsung. So the dropouts they were always the same. But then I reduced the length from the HDMI cable until I found, 1.5 meter, 2 meters is the maximum what I can use. But then I said, this can't be right, but because I need to, how can you do 2 meters is not much, And then I bought this 15 meter HDMI optic fiber cable, which now connects from here in the way other room, and there's still 5 meters left or whatever. Never ever any dropout. Never ever.
Wow. I mean, that's great to hear, man, because I don't want to return the TV. And honestly, if it start dropping out, I would, because I mean, that's
But I still don't understand why this is so sensitive, because the G4, sorry, I'm always, I need a G4 probably. I really need my G2 here. Never had a problem. I have a very old 8 meter HDMI whatever cable. I don't know if this is ever was, so I can use HDMI 2.1 stuff with this cable. I don't know when I bought this cable. 8 meters. It's working flawless with the G2. Not a chance with the S95C. Not a single chance. So this must be the connect box. There's no way.
It's finicky. Yeah, that one connect box is finicky with that for sure. But yeah, I hope I don't have problem.
So that's the only. Now there are two issues what I really have with the S95C. It's really all the time when I'm disconnecting PlayStation or disconnecting my Xbox or also the PC, I have to set up the things, like HDR game mode or stuff like that. You have to start over again. If I'm not disconnecting anything, everything is fine. But nothing happens like that on my G2. So I can connect anything what I want. It just remembers all the settings. And then the dropouts if you use HDMI copper cable. But again, with HDMI optic fiber, never had a problem again.
The other thing that I want to say as a negative point is the text clarity. on PC mode, there you see that the sharpness is set to 10 on PC mode. For some reason, when you change to console, it is at 0 and it looks okay. So on PC mode, if you lower the sharpness to 0, it looks very blurry.
Yeah, it has to be 10, I think, in PC
Yeah.
mode. I don't know why.
But still, it looks a little bit off to me.
Yeah,
the
it's
text
because of the
clarity.
pixel structure. You can't get the
Yes.
same. So the bigger the letters, the better. But I compared this as well. So that's why the G2 is here, not the S95C, because I'm using this as editing monitor and stuff like that, you know. So the text clarity, because of the pixel structure, is not as good. But this is nothing what you can see during gaming or stuff like that. Because in gaming or when you have movies, you have these big letters, you know, there's no problem at all. But yes, I agree. That's something if you plan to use. That's why some people complaining if they're using, you know, a QD-OLED as a gaming monitor, you know, and also having text and stuff like that. It's not a good thing. But yeah. Let me answer this one here. Gaming Tech, how did they fix the white vertical line on your G2 and what exactly was the problem? So they just replaced the panel. To replace the whole panel was a thing, maybe took 15 minutes actually. But it took me longer actually to fight with LG to get a replacement, to be very honest. It took me a couple of phone calls because they denied actually warranty. Because apparently here in Australia, we don't have any 5-year warranty for the G series. But
really?
I made it very clear that because this TV was just 1.5 years old, you know, and I paid over $5,000. And I made it very clear if they're not replacing this on a warranty, I will go online with this. This is not you know, and the white line is, according to this guy who fixed the panel, 2 guys, it's a common issue on LG panels.
So basically, they didn't want to do it, and you had to say, "Hey, I have a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna let everyone know."
I said I will go to consumer affairs. That's so consumer affairs in Australia is very powerful, and as the name says, it's for the consumers. And you will have no problem to get your panel repaired then, because 1.5 years for $5,000 for the G series, you know, for the TV, you know, it's not discussable. No, there's no discussion about this. Maybe after 5 years, maybe after 6, 7 years, you can say, okay, you know, it's not a warranty, but not after 1.5 years.
No,
and after that, it was very simple, you know.
Also,
just came and replaced it.
But you did have to report it to that consumer affairs?
No, because no, it was not that far. So I talked to someone on so you start your ticket with per email and stuff like that. You know how it goes, and then you send your pictures, your evidence, and whatever. And the first reaction, it's not covered under warranty. And I was like, what? And then I started calling LG and stuff like that. And now we have no 5-year warranty here in Australia. I said, yeah, this doesn't matter. It's still faulty. You know, now we're not warranting this. And then I just mentioned consumer affairs and can I please talk to your manager? Let me see what I can do. And then, no, we can do this. We can do this under, yeah. So this is a joke, really. That's a joke. Under 1.5 years, and you pay $5,000. It's not a $500 TV. It's a $5,000 TV. Okay, that's a different story.
Crazy. Wow.
Anyway, everything worked out fine. The guys who replaced this, absolutely nice. I asked him also if there's any difference in terms of replacement between Samsung and LG. And it's basically they said it's all the same crap. You know, basically. You know what I mean? There's nothing better or worse.
Let me ask Matt if he's still here. He's saying not all games are HGIG, and Samsung will turn up to 2000 nits. Hunt Shundown is an example of the game detecting. So let me ask you, when you do the service menu hack and you actually get those 2000 nits, if the TV can, you know, do this tone mapping with 2000 nits, wouldn't it be better if you change the game to be 2000 nits so it actually is not doing tone mapping, you're getting 2000 nits? Is that so? Basically, my question is, what would look better when you do the 2000 nits hack on the service menu? Would it be 1200, 1300, 1800, 2000? What would be the best way to set the tone mapping when you do that? And don't tell me not to do it, because I'm sure you did. And you actually say you did the hack, so don't tell me, oh, you don't do it. I'm going to do it myself because I know how to fix it, but you don't do it. Don't tell me don't do it. Tell me how to get the
Let
best.
me here. Thank you very much for the super chat, Jimmy Harrison. I love your show, Marcus. Thank you very much for spelling my name with K. Thank you very much for this. I always appreciate this. Always gave me great recommendations. Yes, you're very welcome. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a video for Black Ops 6 right now because I'm still sick. I'm getting better, but the last couple of days I was just in the bed. So no way actually to do a video, but maybe tomorrow or the day after. But yeah.
Hopefully you get better. You should try. I always try this black elderberry syrup. It's very powerful. They sell that on Amazon. It's the syrup one, black elderberry syrup. I give it to my family, or I take it when I'm sick. It's not really like a drug. It's just a syrup from a
They're
fruit.
not selling drugs on Amazon.
Yeah, I think it's very good. It is gonna relieve at least for me, it relieves my sore throat or whatever is going on. So you can give it a try.
Okay, I will. No worries. You can actually. So I mean, I'm not looking into doing this because I love my S95C way too much to actually mess it up or whatever. But so you can change it actually so you can change it to a different brightness as well. So not just 2000.
Yes, because it's a number. So on the service menu, there's a number.
Okay.
So you can increase it, and you can increase it granularly to get more or less. So for example, if you get the S90C with a second gen panel, you increase that number to a certain number, and suddenly you have exactly the same as the S95C, and you can keep pushing it higher. But this is not safe at all. What someone said here on the comments, that they got a pixel that was looking red or died or something like that.
Matt did this.
You can break the TV for sure.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? I don't think it's worth it, because the TV, I'm going to do it, so it's worth it for me, but I don't think it's worth the risk to tell everyone, hey, you should definitely do this, and if you don't do it, you're missing out. I'm not going to say that on the video, but I'm going to show you how to do it, that's for sure. I'm going to tell you all about it. But full disclaimer, I'm going to tell you when I do it, hey, this might break your TV, and you might get dead pixels and red looking pixels, but I'm going to do it myself. But I don't think you're missing out. It is very bright as it is, and I don't, especially full screen. I think it's good enough. It's like 250 nits, full screen, and that looks very good, because I'm talking about 250 nits if you have a white full screen picture. If you actually have a normal scene, you can get like 400 or 500 nits in some areas, and then you have some highlights. It's very bright. I don't think it
is. Yeah. No, I'm not touching it. All what I did is I disabled the dimming things, you know what I mean, which is annoying. And I have to check this again, because I think after every update, I think that's what Leslie told me, it's enabled again. And the other day I played a couple of weeks ago already, Broken Sword, the click and point adventure, and the screen just turned very dark, and I said, what the hell is going on? Press pause, boom, bright again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to do this every time, I think, after a software update. But
yeah, I haven't even done that yet. Honestly, I haven't seen it dimming at all. And the other day when I did the comparison, the picture was on screen. Oh, but yeah, I know why. Because I had the screensaver, and after 1 minute it blacks out, so that's why. And then I moved the mouse, so that's why it's not dimming. Yeah, I know, that's why.
So Dolce is writing, the most games won't need 2000 nits. I think 1000 nits is more than enough. I have to disagree. So 1000 nits should be the minimum nowadays, something around that. But so I experienced the G4 and in 83-inch just last weekend, and I was really blown away. I have to say, there's no, again, I have the S95C at home, but just in 65-inch. and there is still a difference, in size. You know what I mean? Regardless what your girlfriend is telling you, but that's how it is. No, it's just like different. It's different. You have 83-inch with 1500 nits blowing in your face. This is like wow, and we're talking about a picture quality like, my goodness, really unbelievable.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
the thing is, I would say it's not a matter of most games need that or not. On the PC especially, you can have any brightness you want on any game, and you can have any colors you want on any game. You just have to change the game. You can use reshade. Now we have RTX HDR, which you can tweak. There's a mod that you can use to get the exact brightness you need. So you can always get full blast. Actually, one of the things I want to work on is how can I get the most out of my S95C? I want to see those colors, okay? But of course, I don't want to see them all the time everywhere, because you get used to it and then it loses the effect. You don't want to see, it's just the way our brain works. It doesn't matter how bright and colorful it is. You will get used to it, and then it's like an ice cream. You get the first one and this is amazing, and the third, fourth, and then it no longer tastes. So that's how our nervous system works. But I want to see those colors, and so what I want to do is I want the games to look natural and closer to accurate for the most part. But for the higher end, I wanna punch those colors as hard as possible and see how that looks. Yeah, let's read this question here. Gaming tech, plasma TV for gaming. What do you think about the upcoming 3D monitor Samsung announced? I don't know about that one. I know about the
Never heard.
TCL. You do?
No, I never heard about this 3D
I
monitor.
heard about the TCL 8K inkjet printed OLED through RGB, self-emissive, perfect blacks, 500 nits, full screen, glassless 3D, 8K. Okay, that's an upgrade. Although these inkjet printed displays don't have, they wouldn't have more brightness, like peak brightness, but they have more full screen brightness, which is more impressive. When people say, "Oh, this is brighter," they are most likely referring to that full screen brightness power more than the highlights. So that's the one I heard, and it was like last year, and it's still no release date. I don't think it's even coming next year. So I don't know about this Samsung 3D monitor.
No, never heard about this, honestly.
But I want 3D. I'm all about it, for sure.
Don't buy the G4. It has a vertical line in the middle in a specific scene. What? What are you talking about?
A vertical line in the middle.
So just a new TV or on every G4? I haven't noticed anything when I played on a G4 for several hours, to be honest. And I'm very particular with this. I would see this if there's something. But it's interesting to know, yeah. Dio Brando, 2000 nits for Gen 2 panel is the highest. My S95D is modded to 3000 nits for small highlights. Looks gorgeous on native HDR games and dark scenes. 3000 nits for small highlights. My goodness. I mean, must be crazy. If you have a proper HDR game, this must looking absolutely wow.
So Matt here says, for your information, if you don't use Game Motion Plus, which is disabled on PC mode, your gamma will be lifted below 25% stimulus. So if I understand, he's saying like if you don't use it, the gamma is wrong, and you have to use it for the gamma to be right.
If you don't use Game Motion Plus, which is disabled, your gamma will be lifted below. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that there was something off about the gamma on the S95C versus my C1 with HGIG. And it's not that it is brighter only. There's something that was looking a little bit washed out with it.
Just going through the comments. We have so many comments, by the way. Thank you very much for watching us. time for micro LED, just 150 grand. Yeah. Nah, probably this will never come. I don't know. Let's see. I'm really looking forward for next year what the G5 brings, or S95E. If the S95E has the much higher panel brightness and it's going back to the S95C coding or reflect or film, oh my god, then the G5 has no chance. G5 is gone. Yeah, I don't know.
And I heard FOMO say on the last video, he's all about the latest news. He's well informed with all the rumors and all the stuff, and I like that. He said that probably this phosphorescent blue is not going to come out because it's too expensive. These companies are about making money. It's not necessarily making the absolute best display that they can all the time. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to just be profitable. And it seems like that's too expensive, and they don't believe that most people would buy into it because QD-OLED is so good already. So yeah, I was hoping that phosphorescent blue, you put that behind the QD-OLED, and I mean the brightness increase would be like massive, absolutely huge. So that would be the time to upgrade. But it seems like that's not happening. So I wonder what are they doing. But yeah, that third generation QD-OLED with a glossy finish, that might be the way to go. There is a version of the S95D in Germany. People are telling me on the comments. I forgot the model name. They say that one has a glossy finish. That there's a third generation QD-OLED right now that has a glossy finish. So that might be the best one. But
that's actually probably really the best one.
Yeah.
So again, I still don't understand why Samsung went this way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make any sense because it's what I was saying. Like top tier, best of the best.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about how it's going to look under suboptimal lighting conditions. Like when you talk about the best of the best, you are expecting, for people to have a controlled light environment. Why would you get such a nice TV and then have it on the living room with a lot of light?
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that matte finish is terrible idea in my opinion. So Matt says that the 2000 nits hack developed a stock red pixel cluster that was blasting full red all the time.
Okay.
So of course, try it at your own risk. You also need to increase the HW peak settings, or you will overtrack PQ by a ton. So that's what I was reading, that when you do the hack, it's gonna look super washed out, a little bit washed out, and it's difficult to fix that. So yeah, you could adjust that roll off with device control on LG since 2019. Yeah. Or Calma. Yeah, but most people don't have or don't know how to do that. So yeah.
What are your current thoughts on matte black screens over reflective glossy screens going forward? Are those with glossy panels now shut out of the cook? Not sure what that means, but I mean, I like my G2, how it looks like, and I think the glossy panel is in general better. But again, I have no problems with the S95C.
You see what I'm going to do? I'm going to go one day to the store, and I'm going to zoom in on this S95D with my phone to see if this is visible, because I've seen side-by-side pictures online. Actually, there's a YouTube channel that he's always hammering on the matte finish because of these monitors. A lot of the monitors have a matte finish for some reason. And he's the display guy, his YouTube channel. And he showed like a side-by-side picture of glossy versus matte finish. And the matte finish was looking like a glass, one of those church glasses that are colorful, but they blur everything. So the pixels themselves, they were looking super blurry. I mean, the difference was like huge. It's like, why would you like imagine you're on your car. Why would you use sandpaper on your windshield? You're going
Yeah.
so if you need to see through, you need a glass. You don't want to affect the clarity of that glass at all. It's a terrible idea. You lose
Yeah.
you lose contrast, you lose clarity, you know,
Yeah, I don't
depth,
understand.
everything. It's a terrible idea.
Now, in general, I find glossy panels looking more contrasty, you know, because you have this feeling that it's very, very dark, of course, or very black. But again, the reason why, I said this in one of my videos back then when I had the S95C, I find the reflection handling in general on the S95C better. So if you have a brighter room or whatever, or maybe with backlight, with light in the back, which you shouldn't have, of course, if you watch TV or stuff like that, then the S95C was doing this much better. So just for an example, I had the QN95B, yes, the LCD screen from Samsung, which I sold at some point, and I did this the flashlight test. You know, when you put your flashlight on the so I compared this, the LG G2 or also the CX. Yes, you can see the flashlight and stuff like that on the S95C. Yes, also you can see the flashlight, but less than on the LG OLED TVs. But on the Q95B, you see the flashlight and you have this rainbow effect over the whole screen. It was absolutely distracting. I don't know why or what they have done here. I don't know how it looks like on the S95D, actually, if you would do the same test. But so far, I found S95C is handling this test the best, to be very honest.
Yeah, I think that's another issue. What you're talking about, that's like a different issue.
Yeah.
With those LCD with those panels.
This is probably because of all the layers what they have, you know, LCD screens. They can't do it in a different way. But it was
I heard
really
the explanation one time, but I don't remember it. I don't remember where I got it.
I don't know either. I just know it's not nice now. Again, you shouldn't have light when you watch TV or play games, but you get my point. Sometimes it's not you can't turn it off or something like that. You know, I don't know. So what else do we have? Because it's a little bit over 1 hour, and I really have to say I like to go back to bed. To be honest, I'm not feeling.
Yeah, let's leave it there then. If you're not feeling
you
the
can
best.
continue. You know, I just want to. You know, I did this because I said no. I like to hear from Ariel actually what he thinks. You know, and I saw on the videos, of course, that you're very excited and stuff like that, and you're just getting into QD-OLED. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
To give you a summary, I was not expecting to be excited at all. I was expecting to be disappointed and probably even return it, honestly, because I thought the screen itself, it was going to look terrible, because what I saw in the store, the black level rays and all that. But I have to say that, you know, I look at it as transparent as I could without having any preconceptions. Okay, let me just look at what it can do well. And I was impressed. And my impression was, this looks almost as good as my phone screen. So it's like a 55-inch phone screen, and that's great. And I mean, a lot of people have one of these newer phones. Everyone knows that these phones, the screen looks fantastic. And that's the impression I got. And the colors, the vibrancy of the colors is so beautiful. It's off the chart. But yeah, you have to learn how to get the best out of it, because most games are not taking advantage of that. And regular content is you're not gonna see that. Like, just for regular, you know, TV watching, you're not gonna see.
No, there's no difference. You know, if you just watch some cartoons or whatever, you know, you won't see a big difference. But if you play the proper games, the right games, then you see a difference.
Yeah.
So let's do this one, last one. Guys, I sent back S95D for S95C, and I agree that the glossy screen is better. So S95C still has not a really glossy screen, but compared to the S95D, it is glossy. Yeah, and I agree that however, that 50% and 10% brightness increase is a big deal with games. It also does HDRG better. I mean, of course, the S95D is brighter than the S95C, and yes, it does HDRG according to some of my informations, like the LG OLED TVs.
That's
so no
great.
problems with that.
But the peak brightness of the S95D, I think, is 1500 nits. I'm not sure.
There's not much of a difference between the S95C and but there is some.
Yeah, the thing is, if you go with the S95C and you go to service menu, you can get more brightness than the S95D. So I mean, that's what really excites me the most. You get a product that you can overclock or get it even better. Of course, at your own risk, and I'm willing to take that. So I can get it better than S95D.
I wait for your video and then maybe I try it as well. But
yes,
I will. I'm just happy with the TV. I don't, you know what I mean? I know, and the problem is, as soon you experience, let's say, really 2000 nits, you can't go back. That's
exactly. So if you're not gonna do it, I would recommend you don't even try it, because it's gonna be an improvement, and you're not gonna want to go back.
So Bruno is asking, is the lack of Dolby Vision in Samsung TVs a deal breaker for LG consumers? No.
Well, let me tell you this.
Not funny.
I'm gonna say that Dolby Vision, for me, I've never used it. I have LG C1. I've never even seen the logo pop. No games on Dolby Vision on the PC. But with Samsung, we have HDR10 Plus, and I already experienced that. And I think it is a great idea. When I opened Red Dead Redemption 2, I saw the HDR10 Plus setting. I'm like, hey, look at this. Let me turn it on and see what it does. And what it does is it changes the peak brightness slider to your TV. So it changed it to 1200. And I'm like, I've never changed that to 1200, so I'm sure that was by default what it did. So I hit reset, and yeah, it's 1200. And if I change the slider and I hit reset, it goes to 1200. But it didn't change the midtones slider. So the midtones at default is 100. So you still have to change the midtones, which is not ideal. And I don't know if there is something else going on other than just changing the peak brightness. Do you know if HDR10 Plus?
No, I think I tested HDR10 Plus in Cyberpunk, and I found there's not really a difference. I can't remember. There was some issues with some settings then. Probably was buggy a little bit back then, but I don't think so. So HDR10 Plus is literally like Dolby Vision detecting the peak brightness or talking to the game or your PC or console directly. That's what you experience. As soon you enable HDR10, it recognizes your TV monitor 1200 nits. That's what it sets to. So that's basically, if they haven't changed anything else, which, I mean, there's not much difference, you know what I mean? I don't think that they're remastering the game with HDR10, then it wouldn't make sense anyway.
No, but what I was hoping maybe is that because NVIDIA is detecting, okay, this is a TV, this is the full peak brightness, maybe I was expecting to have like a tone mapping more ideal for the TV, like adjusting the midtones and everything so it looks the best. And I don't think that's going on, at least not with Red Dead. I'll try Cyberpunk. And do you know any other game that has support?
What is the Last Descendant, or what was it? No,
The Last
something
Descendant.
like that on the PC. Then there was another game supports HDR10 Plus, but I think I tested it just briefly. It has terrible HDR black level rays, so it's.
Okay. So what's the point? Yeah. But my point is Dolby Vision, well, completely irrelevant to me. No games with that. HDR10 Plus, I see some games, and maybe in the future it's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And for PC gaming specifically. So I would take HDR10 Plus over Dolby Vision any day.
That's fine.
For gaming.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Yeah, let's leave it there then.
I'm going to say goodbye. And we say anyway, today really a lot of viewers. This was a very interesting topic. Everybody likes to know how Ariel feels about his new TV. And I think, I mean, I knew he will be liking it. You know what I mean? I was a little bit concerned about the black level rays, but again, I found it not a big deal. Yeah, and I'm looking forward what Samsung is doing next time, you know, because yeah, QD-OLED is, I think, the way to go at the moment. WRGB OLED is on the limit.
Yeah, I
That's it.
think with the future, I mean, I watched that last FOMO video. He's like, it looks like Samsung is not planning to improve anymore. They are like going to try to get cheaper, bigger TVs so they can sell more
Yeah.
and make more money. So it looks like these companies, they're not trying to push the boundaries. None of that, sadly. But I think progress is inevitable. Even if they don't try, we will always get something better. And if they don't do, then a Chinese company is gonna do it, like
Yes.
CCL,
Yeah.
Hisense, and then they're gonna go over them and take
Yeah,
over the market, because people are going to buy whatever is best. There's definitely an enthusiast
correct. Yeah.
community, but of course, the majority of people, they just buy cheap TVs. But yeah, let's see how it goes. But of course, the future is gonna be bright when it comes
It
to
will be,
HDR.
yeah, the future will be bright. Thank you very much. That was our last great comment. I would say, yeah, that's it for today. We see you guys next Sunday again.
You guys take care.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for being
much.
here.
Bye-bye.